Hello everyone. So today we're going to continue the project and we're also going to talk about how to connect to the database, and instead of making a list hard coded, we're going to get the list from the database and read out those values in the web page. And also I'd like to point out some mistakes that I made in the last video. So the first one being that I didn't end the tr tag. So I need to do that right now. So we're just gonna go here and we're gonna say slash tr, and it automatically did it for me. And then also, you should never have your code inside the HTML tags. They should be in either the head or the body tag. So let me just indent all of this. And here, I'm going to say head, and when I close it, we're gonna have to put our title in the head tag. So I'm just gonna say task list. And then the next is the body tag, and this is the body of our web page. So I'm gonna say body, close it, and we're just gonna put we're gonna put all of this inside the body tag, and oh, let's indent that. And now the last thing is to push all of this to GitHub. So what we're actually going to do is open the command prompt, and let me just say d and then cd slash task list and git add, and we're going to have to add the templates. So let me just say templates and hit enter, and when you say the directory name, it adds everything in the directory. And then we're going to say git commit -m, and let's say hard coded list, or hard coded task list in web page. And let's do that. So we changed the file and we added 28 things to it. And now we're just gonna say git push and give it a second. And there you go. So now let's move on to actually working on the project. What we need to do now is we need to connect Python to our Postgres database. So that means that we're also not going to be really needing this anymore. So let me just comment this line out, because anyways we're going to get a list from the database. So to connect to the database, we're going to have to create a Python file. So let's create a Python file and let's name it db.py. That's already going to do that for us. And now we need to install a module. So here we're going to have to say pip install psycho pg2. So what you do is, maybe if you're in the terminal, if you're not in the terminal, you're just going to have to click terminal right here, and then you're just going to hit enter after typing that in, and it's been installed. So here we're going to say import psychopg2, and now we're going to need 4 things to connect to the database. We're going to need our database name, our username, our password, and the location. So for me, I think most of us are using the local host. So let's open up pgadmin really quick to see some of that information. So we're going to open up servers and task list. It's going to open up a ton of stuff for me. Hang on. So here down at login group roles, we see that we created our user called task list user, so that's the user that we're using, and our database name is tasklistdb, and our location is our host is localhost, and the password was abc123. So let's just type all of that information here. So let's make some variables. db underscore name is equal to, it was task list db, and then our username, so user is equal to task list underscore user, password, I was gonna say pw is equal to abc123, and finally db underscore host was equal to localhost. So with that information, we're gonna have to establish a connection between Postgres and Python. So first, let's make a function called get task list. So what this will do is it'll just get our task list from the database. So in the function, we're going to have to first establish the connection. And the way we're going to be doing that is by saying psychopg dot connect, and we're also going to have to put this in a variable. So I'm going to call that variable con, and we're going to say dot connect db name is equal to db underscore name, comma db, or not, just user name, no, just user is equal to db user, and then password is equal to db pass or db pw, and host is equal to db host. And there you go. So now we're gonna have to make a cursor, and what a cursor does is it allows you to run certain methods like queries. So we're gonna have to say cur is equal to con dot cursor, and since this is a method, it's easy to forget that you need the parentheses. And then with that cursor, we're gonna have to run the query select. So what we're gonna do is we're still only gonna get the task name and also the is active value. I remember that this used to be is done, but I changed it to is active because that's the column in the table. So now we're gonna have to say cur dot execute, and we're gonna have to run the query. So let's actually use single quotes. I'll tell you why in a second. So we're gonna have to say the query select, and we're going to say the task name. So let's see what that was called. If we go into the columns, we can see the names. Let's just move this up a little bit. Task underscore name and also is underscore active. So task underscore name, comma is underscore active from, oops, this whole thing has to be capital. So from public dot, and this is why we use single quotes, because after you say dot you have to use double quotes. So public dot task list, because this was the name of the table. So we're saying cur dot execute this query, and down here we're going to have to say cur dot fetch all, because all we did was run the query, but we still have to get the data after running it. So this is what it's going to do. So let's actually put this in a variable as well. So I'm going to call this variable task list is equal to cur.fetchAll. And let's also put some spaces here. And then we're also going to have to close the cursor and close the connection just for good practice. So because it is good practice, sorry. And then finally, we're going to have to return task list. This is going to be all for db.py, so we can close that. And now we're going to have to make a new variable called task list and set it equal to get task list. Oh, forgot. We also have to say from db import get task list. So now we can say get task list. So what we're saying here is that we're going to first run the query, select the name of the task and also the true or false value in is active, and we're going to put it in this task list variable. And that's also used here as well when we're using the HTML. So now when we run this, it should give us the link, and when we open it, we had wash dishes as true and take out trash as true. So let's quickly go over to pgadmin right here, and let's add a new value into, or a new task into the task list table. So we're going to go to scripts, and we're going to say insert script. So this is going to be the third thing. So id 3, task is going to be, what were the tasks we already had? Let's check one more time. We had wash dishes, take out trash. So let's call this one walk dog, and due date is 1/2/2021, and this also has to be in the quote, and is active. Let's make this false. So now if we run this, we got the query done. So let's minimize that, rerun, and we got walk dog as false. So in the next video, not only are we gonna keep reading the values, but we're also gonna be using Python. We're gonna be trying to use the web page to delete values and update values and add values instead of using pgadmin to do that. So let's do it next time, and that's going to be all for this video. Let's just push this db.py into GitHub. So what we're going to do is open up the command prompt, and we're going to say git, or first let's go into cd code / task list. We're going to say git add, and we're going to say db.py, and finally git commit -m, let's say established connection to db. And when we run that, we made one file change, 14 insertions, and git push. So now that's in GitHub. Give it a second, and there you go. So now that's going to be it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.